Would you date a bus driver? You. Would you date
if
a
he
bus
owns
driver?
the bus? If he owns
No.
it. If
Men who are average to below average and are mad at women because they don't want to lower their standards are crazy. Women are going to be women. Either you're going to get them or you're not. Either you're going to succeed or you're not. Either you in the in crowd or you're not, right?
Would you date a bus driver? You. Would you date
if
a
he
bus
owns
driver?
the bus, if he owns
No.
it.
With that saying, man, you need to be greater. If women moving like this, if women is not finna settle for a C and D, man, that's what it's gonna be. Now, the only inverse is for men to be greater and for men to stop settling for C and D women. Because a lot of these women who feel like they deserve these dudes, the only reason they feel like this because these dudes give them energy. It might be fluid out. It might be a dinner here. It might be some money on their phone bill here. So these women be feeling like, yeah, I can brush shoulders with these men so I can. Men need to have the same standards women got. Man, listen, check it out, man. It's your favorite celestial being in the flesh. My name is Earthway, and this is Be Greater Podcast, where I give the unmitigated rain to give my uneducated opinion. I'm just the only one that's real enough to tell you that all advice ain't good advice. You did? Right. So check this out. We got Miss Anaya Van Zet, or is it Iyanla Van Zet, going viral again, stirring up the black community and women and men and how perspectives need to be in these relationships, right? She sat down recently with another Nubian queen who goes by the name of Miss Ebony Williams. I am not up to, you know what I'm saying, date on who this young lady is, but I need to be. Man, listen, I'm gonna keep it PG-13, but check this out, right? Miss Van Zet hit her with a simple question. Can you date a bus driver? And that one question got the black community in a buzz. So I'm going to say less. We're going to watch this interview and I'm going to come back and give my whole uneducated opinion. You know what I mean? So let me go.
You've said that you cannot teach a man or tell a man how to be a man. So I will not ask you to indict men in this question. But I do want you to speak, Ayanla, to how women need to, position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build, when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources. And some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? You. Would you date
if
a bus
he owns
driver?
the bus? If he owns
No.
it, the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Okay.
Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus.
Oh, that you've.
Man, listen, right? First and foremost, whole lot of uneducated opinions going on here. I feel them both. I understand them both, right? So, Miss Williams, like she stated, in the economy of the world that we're living in nowadays, being an average man on an average check is not really enough to sustain a family, right? It's not. It's not. This is not 1952 where you can go get a job at Ford on the assembly line. You can have 6 kids with a stay-at-home wife, a vacation house in Michigan, and you take a family. No, this ain't that no more, right? So I get it. So I get why a woman, the concept for a woman to accept a man for where he's at, and that's being a bus driver. It can be a hard pill to swallow, right? Especially for a woman like her, like she accomplished things. But Ms. Van Zett said some things that's really critical, right? What's more important, the wealth or the character of the man, right? So the integrity, his moral values, his perspective on life, his love for his mama, his love for himself, his love for you, right? Which one is more important? Which one would you wager all of that for money? And that's what we kind of get into nowadays, right? It's like people that trade average wealth for 1% love. You know, like, so if you average wealth, you can get a better bond, right? But they'll go for above average wealth that has to below average love. Because a lot of times when you start making sacrifices in the character of the person that you're choosing, and money is the biggest factor, odds is you're gonna have a below average experience. I'm just saying. But what do I know, right? So Kevin always used to say, what's the matter with dating somebody on your level? In reality, the world has always been hard, right? And 2 average people coming together, they gonna live an average life. And that's just what it is, right? Everybody has aspirations for being greater, being better, but everybody can't be a chief, right? If everybody was a millionaire, you'd be like, damn, everybody wealthy. But that's not even the case. Average would never not be a thing. And that's another thing. Average is such a bad word nowadays, right? If everybody had exactly $1 million in their bank account, everybody will not be rich. Everybody will still be average. I don't know if people really get that, right? So being below average, I definitely don't want to be that. At a bare minimum, I got to be average, right? The goal is to strive to be above average, but on average, everybody is average. So when you're average and you're looking down on somebody who's on the same standing as you, it causes problem, it causes resentment, especially in dating when men be looking at women like, listen, you looking down at me and I'm above you, right? I might not be rich. I'm a bus driver. I make 70, 80,000 a year. And you looking down on me and you make 40 and you do hair and you got a business that you sell lashes. You don't make no money off of, but you looking down on me, right? So it has to be balanced. And I think that's what Ms. Benzette is trying to get her to understand. And Miss Williams wasn't trying to hear it, right? And the internet went in on her, I must say, to the point where they was calling her gold digger. They said this is how all black women is. So she had to rebuttal. So of course, you know what I'm here for, to bring you the content. So again, if you ain't like to subscribe, please, and let's look at Miss Williams, right? Let me say
Out of the
less.
50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time. There's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that Black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning Black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about Black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
And average should not be good enough for you, right? So I'm not even mad at her. But I think that the fact that how she likes humility and an overall understanding, right? Long story short, dudes who are C's and D's, y'all need to be greater, right? I always reference Jordan Peterson because I respect his man. And when he said men who are average to below average and are mad at women because they don't want to lower their standards are crazy. Women are going to be women. Either you're going to get them or you're not. Either you're going to succeed or you're not. Either you in the in crowd or you're not, right? So with that saying, man, you need to be greater. If women moving like this, if women is not finna settle for a C and D, man, that's what it's gonna be. Now, the only inverse is for men to be greater and for men to stop settling for C and D women. Because a lot of these women who feel like they deserve these dudes, the only reason they feel like this because these dudes give them energy. It might be fluid out. It might be a dinner here. It might be some money on their phone bill here. So these women be feeling like, yeah, I can brush shoulders with these men so I can. Men need to have the same standard. Men need to have the same standards women have. Listen, I don't want no little average basic chick. Like, look, what? Listen, I don't want average either. So I'm not even finna sit here and hit it across the head. Man, y'all need to be greater and stop complaining about women's standards, right? No matter how unrealistic it is, be greater or don't deal with them. If women in mass are thinking like this, that means men in mass need to be greater until there's a balance. But listen, what do I know? Whole lot of uneducated opinions, as we all know, right? Listen, gang, Be Greater podcast. This is your favorite celestial being in the flesh, but you can call me Earth Wind. Until next time, y'all already know the vibe. Greater. What's up? I just want to say thank y'all for tuning in to Be Greater podcast. It's your boy Earth Wind. I just want to say please hit the subscribe button and salute to everybody that's rocking